borrow money just to get that sponsorship to come to the UK. Hi, good evening. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to those on YouTube and welcome to those on TikTok as well. So this evening, because I started my live already on YouTube and I'm like, no, I have to get my TikTok family in as well. All right, so I'm not going to delay. I'm going to jump right into it. I would answer your questions in a bit, but I have a topic that I want to talk about. And I like your input as well. As you join the live, you like the live, you share the live. Hope everyone is doing well. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this world, good evening. If you're in the Caribbean, good evening. If you are in Africa, in Asia, in the USA, in the UK, good evening to you. Okay? Long time Kia, I hope you're fine. All right, so I do have a topic that I want to talk about. Actually, it's a news article. So tonight we're going to talk about the sponsorship scamming that's happening in Nigeria. UK sponsorship. So COS is the same as certificate of sponsorship. All right. So in a news article in Metro News, the headline is Nigerians stage protests in London against rising cases of UK certificate of sponsorship scams. All right, this is very interesting. So I'm going to read the first part. It says, Nigerians residing in the United Kingdom have staged a protest against the increasing cases of certificate of sponsorship, which is COS scams, which have left many victims stranded after paying thousands of pounds to fraudulent agents and companies. All right. So I love to give scenarios. So my scenario is, let's say Tom lives in Nigeria. Yes, I'll just say COS. Let's say Tom lives in Nigeria and Tom is going through a very, very rough time. Very, very rough time. He has no money. He's struggling financially. His family is struggling. His children are struggling. And Tom has been praying for a way out. He has been praying. He's going to church and he's praying for something to happen so he can get a way out. So he can better himself, better his family, and overall alleviate himself from poverty or whatever situation, economical struggles. Tom has been praying, I'm telling you. And one day, someone approaches Tom. And in Nigeria and Africa, you call them your brother, your sister. So a brother approaches Tom and, after church, and he said to Tom, I have an opportunity for you. I have something to tell you. And he starts to tell Tom that he has jobs in the UK and he can help him to get a job in the UK. And he needs to provide XB documents. And, he assures Tom that he can get work in the UK and he can get it as soon as possible. Now, after Tom just finished hearing a wonderful service, a wonderful sermon, Tom is happy, he's excited, he's ready to come to the UK to work and to improve himself and to improve his family, to get money for his family. He's excited. So Tom said to the brother, yes, what do you need? What can I give to you? How can I get this sponsorship? How can I get to the UK to work? Because remember, I don't know why, but for a lot of people, the UK, the USA, places like Dubai, they're seen as greener pastures. It's like money is here, money is there. So they want to get to the UK, they want to get to the greener pastures. Okay, little do Tom know that what is going to happen next, but we'll get to that. So Tom is all excited to come to the UK to work, and the brother said to him, you need to provide this, you need to provide that. So Tom went home, tell his parents, tell his family, I'm going to the UK. Someone is going to get me a sponsorship. Now, Tom provided the documents, his passport, everything that the agent asked for. Tom provided it. Then the agent said to Tom, you need to pay £5,000 to get this sponsorship. If you really want to go to the UK, you need to pay £5,000. The uncertainty. Yes, Queen, you need to pay £5,000 if you want to get to the UK. If you really want this sponsorship, if you really want to get work and to, make money, you need to pay £5,000 to get to the UK. So, if I am in Tom's position, I just want to get out. I don't care how much it costs. I just want to get out. Good evening, baby. Good evening. I just want to get out. I don't care how much it costs. Okay. And so Tom said, okay, no problem. I'll get you the money. £5,000. You do the equivalent in Naira to get a sponsorship to come to the UK. All right. Remember, Tom is already struggling. Okay. No thought at all about what lies ahead. They're not thinking about it. But Tom is already struggling. He has no money. But hear what? Tom went to his family. He went to the community. He went to his church brothers and church sisters. And he pulled the money together. Pull the money together. How much Naira? Somebody tell me in the chat, £5,000 is how much equivalent in Naira? That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. People will sell their houses, they will sell their lands, they will borrow money just to get that sponsorship to come to the UK. Believe it or not. And so this is what Tom did. That's a lot of money. Yes, Queen, it's a lot of money. Kia said, OMG. Yeah. And so Tom did everything to pay that £5,000 to the agent to come to the UK. All right. So the agent collected the money. Now, let's go on. So in the news article, it says that many are left stranded after paying thousands of pounds to fraudulent agents and companies. Note the word fraudulent. About 10 million or more Naira. That's a lot of money. Yeah? So Tom paid the money. He didn't care. He just wanted to come out of Nigeria and come to the UK. So he paid the money. But he paid the money to fraudulent agents. And the problem is, it's called buying a COS. So you buy a COS to come to the UK, but you don't know what is put in the application. You don't know what documents were submitted to the application. Sometimes you don't even know who you are matched with on your application. These are things that happens in real life. And here you have people protesting in London against this same issue, scamming of sponsorship in Nigeria and Africa by extension. Most times they come to the UK and they don't know what is in the application. Nothing at all. But let's get on with it. So the article states in Metro News that they paid thousands of pounds to fraudulent agents and companies. Now, what made these companies fraudulent? What activities have these companies done to be fraudulent? Do you want to know? The issue happens when they come to the UK, when they arrive in the UK. When they arrive in the UK, that's when they realize that the agents were fraudulent. And that's when they realized that they were scammed. What happens? Why they realized that they were scammed? One, when they get to the UK, there are either no jobs. So you get a sponsorship in care, but when you come, there are no care jobs for you. Yeah? Secondly, when you come to the UK, there are no shifts for you. No shifts. Thirdly, when you come to the UK, you agreed 3,000 salary monthly. When you get to the UK, if you get 1,000, you get plenty. Just saying. Reduced salary. Someone said, therefore, they are aware and just plain victims, though. I'm coming to that point as well. I'm coming to that's so true. I'm getting to that point as well. So when they come to the UK, all that was agreed, changes everything. Then as a result of no job, no work, they are then left homeless. Everybody that the people that you borrowed money from in Nigeria, in Africa, you cannot repay your debts. And so you become homeless, you have no money to survive in the UK. That's just pure evil doing, yes. Then you have no money to survive in the UK. Then you're saying to yourself, I have been scammed. Now, as an immigration lawyer, the first thing I'll say to you, how is it that you did not understand or realize that when an agent asks you for such a large sum of money, that something was wrong? Something must have been wrong if you're paying an agent £5,000 just to get a work visa, a sponsorship to come to the UK. That's the starting point. Now, for a COS application, it's roughly about £400, if so much, that the employer pays to the Home Office. Hi, Digilo. Hi. Your employer pays that amount to the Home Office for the COS. You, as an employee or potential employee, do not pay any money at all for a COS. So when the agent said to you, you have to pay £5,000, that should ring a bell that something is wrong. Something doesn't sit right. Why would the agent ask me for so much money I don't have? But no, your eagerness to come to the UK to work blinds everything that you're supposed to understand or realize. And so now you come to the UK and you're left stranded. You're a victim now of being scammed. It happens to people. It happens a lot. Unfortunately, it happens. Now, as someone in my TikTok comment said, they are aware of what's going to happen in the UK. They are aware. Now, this is true. Some are aware and some are not. So you have to give the balance. Some are genuinely aware that when they get to the UK, hey, what? I'm only giving you this sponsorship so you can get to the UK. When you get to the UK, you have to fight for yourself. There are no jobs and you can't get paid. So when you get to the UK, you have to fight for yourself. It's just the entry. some are aware that this sponsorship is just a way to get into the UK, while some genuinely did not know. Genuinely did not know. And so there has to be a balance. I cannot come here as an immigration lawyer and say that everyone is aware. There are some people who genuinely did not know what lies ahead. And so they were scammed just because they needed an opportunity. And it happens all the time. All the time. And so they had a protest in London recently. Victims who are scammed, left stranded in the UK because there are no jobs for them. And most of these people are in care sector. They come through the care route. Someone said ignorance is not an excuse with the Home Office or the Secretary of State, though. Correct. That is correct. There must have been red flags at the beginning of the transaction. Red flags. There must have been red flags at the beginning of the transaction. Number one red flag. You do not pay for a COS. £5,000, £6,000. You do not pay for a COS. That's the first red flag. The second red flag, you have no knowledge of what is in your application, your skilled worker visa application. No knowledge. Ignorance is no excuse. Okay? Ignorance is no excuse. So the protest took place in London, as I said, because of the, many have been left stranded after paying thousands of pounds to agents and companies to come to the UK to work. Now let's move on to what the article is saying. So this is an article in Metro News, if you want to find it and have a look at it as well. Then the article went on to state, the demonstration which took place on Marsham Street in London on Thursday saw affected individuals calling for justice and stricter regulations to curb the scam. Now, let's have a chat in the comment section. What do you think can be done? What measures can the Home Office put in place to curb this issue of scamming? What do you think can be done? So Mami said, using a third party to the best to beat the Home Office and now lamenting ain't allowed and shouldn't stand. Correct. What measures do you think can be put in place to help to curb this situation? What do you think the Home Office can do by extension? They open up the loophole, sadly. That's true, Snitch. That's very true. Like the live as you come in, guys, on TikTok. Share the live. This is a very interesting topic. Now, the victims who have been scammed, they're now calling for justice and stricter regulations to curb the scamming. What do you think can happen? What measures do you think can be put in place? Mommy say stricter regulations and making sure agency ain't allowed to recruit other than the NHS. Okay. Too many loopholes. Okay. Let me see if anyone is commenting on my YouTube. What measures do you think can be put in place? That's what the victims are calling for. So let's look at how a COS is done and how a COS is granted. All right. The starting point for COS is that you have to have a registered company in the UK. Okay. So I'm giving knowledge here also on the live while I'm having this conversation. Companies improperly check upon with valid history. Snitch. That's the good thing. And that's the point I'm coming to. issuance of COS shouldn't be easily granted. That's the point I'm coming to as well. Thank you for those contributions. So COS, the starting point to even get to a COS is to have a registered company or business in the UK. Okay? Now, in order to get a registered company, business, you have to set up a business, yeah? Go to company's house, have an active business, etc. Then the next step, you have to have what is called a sponsor license. How do you obtain a sponsor license? Who gives a sponsor license to a business? It's the Home Office. You make an application for a sponsor license. Home Office will check everything, make sure that you're regulated, your accounts are up to date, you're an active company, check your HR system. Thorough investigation. The Home Office will do. So the Home Office will check your company, the status of your company. All right? And if you pass or you qualify for a sponsor license, it will be granted to you. So you set up a business, you have an active running business, then you apply for your sponsor license. Hi, good evening, Heart and Life. Good evening. COS is brain drain part for immigrants. True. So Home Office grants your sponsor license to you. Then the next step now is to find employees. And how do you find employees? Home Office usually say that you should advertise your vacancies. So if you need a carer, a care assistant, if you need an architect, whatever job you have available, you should advertise it. But then the Home Office created what is called an immigration salary list. It used to be called before shortage occupation list. So this is where Home Office is saying, we need these people in the UK. We need the doctors, we need the lawyers, we need the nurses, we need the carers, the care assistant. We need them in the UK. There's a shortage for carers. So then what happens is that companies no longer advertise their vacancies. They go through an external company to source these employees. You know, you call them recruitment companies sometimes. And by extension, they have agents who will source employees. And so the company or the business would apply for COS. So let's say, for example, you have a care company. The Home Office may allow 10 COS in a year for you, or 20 COS in every quarter for you. So you know you have those allocated potential COS and you just need to apply for them. And so companies would start applying for COS for potential employees a year. Thank you, Queen. A year. Thank you. And so companies will start applying for COS for employees that were recommended to them from the agent. Cheaper labor. And because there was this gap in the UK for workers, especially in the care sector, there was a gap. Yeah, there was a need for workers in the care sector, for example. Then businesses start to see a way in which they can manipulate the system. Okay? They saw a loophole where they can manipulate the system. And so they decide to have agents. Some of these companies or businesses, they are the agents themselves in Nigeria. So they have their company here and they also run an agency in Nigeria. So the money is circulating. And they will take £5,000. How much equivalent naira is this? They will take 4,000 naira from I'm going to use the word, from poor people. Poor people. People who are struggling financially, just to come to the UK. When they get to the UK, there are no work for them. There are no shifts for them. We have to look at the victims. I cannot focus on those who are aware. We have to look at the victims. Because sometimes the agents, they give you such a sweet offer. Such a sweet offer. They market the product. Yeah, the product is the COS. They market the COS so good that you had no choice but to borrow the money, to get a loan, to sell your house, to sell your land, to sell your car, to sell your cattle, to sell all of your animals, just to come to the UK. And what you're thinking of is coming to the UK, working, making life better, sending money back to repay your debts, and move on with your life. Then when you get to the UK, you're shocked. It's nothing like what you were promised. Nothing. Thank you, Queen. Please remember to tap and share the live. If you're on my YouTube, like the live as well. All right. So now they're asking for, thank you for the roses, mommy. So now they're asking for justice. Thank you for the roses, darling. For justice and a stricter regulation to curb the scam. Thank you for the roses on TikTok. Thank you. How is this going to be done? How is this going to be done? That's the next question. I think the Home Office has been trying, and they are aware of this situation. They are aware. Thank you for the roses plug. Thank you. They are aware of this situation that's happening. And it is, I have to repeat myself, it's very unfortunate that people are left in this position. It's not easy being in this country homeless. It's not easy being in this country without food, without shelter, without friends and family. It's very hard. Mentally, it's very hard. And for you to come to the UK and to think that it's going to be a bed of roses, and then it's a living nightmare. It's not what you expected. Despite you paying for the COS, put that aside. Despite you paid for the COS, put that aside. You expected to work. You expected to earn. You expected to live good. You expected to send the money back to your family and friends that you borrowed money from. You expected to pay your loan. You expected to send for your children. But then you come to the UK and you're on the streets now. You have nowhere to go. So it's a very, very unfortunate situation. And I think the Home Office, they are trying to see how much they can curb this situation. That's why they have increased compliance to the immigration rules. And lots of care homes, over 460 care homes in 2024, sponsor license were revoked. Over 460 of them last year. Their sponsor license got revoked because of this same scamming issue, particularly in Nigeria. They must understand how the law works. There are guidelines to follow. Queen saying that, yes. So the Home Office is trying its best to curb the situation. Now the question is, what's going to happen to the victims in the UK? What's going to happen to them?